This is ITTV.
Did you know that our weekly ITTV Into Tomorrow videos and all of our video snacks are edited with Adobe Premiere? Well, if you're a regular listener, you know they are because we talk about it quite a bit. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, our next guest is here to set us all straight. He's Senior Solutions Engineer with Adobe, Colin Smith. Welcome Into Tomorrow, sir. How are you?
I'm doing great. My feet are sore.
I'll bet. I mean, this is only, as we record this interview, a couple of days into Siggraph. There's another 3/4 of a day left to go.
Right.
But we've given you a break, and it's our pleasure. Come
Thank
and
you.
sit down in front of the hot lights, because we're also doing video of all the interviews on the program this week, so you can come and see Colin's interview and all of our guests when you have a moment. If you're listening in the car, have no fear. Come when you can to intotomorrow.com. Look for the Siggraph show, and you'll see everything, including the behind-the-scenes video, also edited, thank you very much, with Adobe Premiere. Speaking of which, new versions of software available now. So
Absolutely.
Let's talk about that and what's got so many people excited here at Siggraph.
Well, I overheard you talking before about memory and HD files and all that time that it takes. And the restriction before any previous version of CS5 is 32-bit. That's what all the applications were running. While these new versions of Premiere Pro CS5, After Effects CS5 are full 64-bit. So instead of being limited to 3 gigabytes or 4 gigabytes of RAM, as the previous versions were, there's really no limit now. So if you happen to have a smoking fast, Z800 HP that can have 192 gigs of RAM.
I only can dream of that.
We would use it all.
Wow.
We would use every single bit of that. And with HD video, that's the problem people have is power and power. Yeah. And the question I'm getting here when I'm in Intel's booth is, what the heck is Adobe doing in Intel's booth? And it's really simple. And it's about optimization and power. Adobe is actually writing our software with Intel engineers. So we're making sure that we're taking advantage of all of the processors.
That's pretty cool because we frequently talk about networking, and you want to network with hardware manufacturers, and as software pros, you want to be in there and say, hey, if you optimize your stuff to work really good with ours and vice versa, things will play nice together, and the end user, us consumers, thank you very much, will really enjoy the experience. You're able to do that these days, especially.
And we require the engineers from Intel to do that. I like to say they're opening the kimono. They're showing us the inner workings of their chips. So stuff is going to be fast.
Oh, no doubt. And you certainly brighten the eyes of all of our staff when we talk about all things available from Adobe and the neat things. And, as you well know, there's a lot of things out in the market that allow you to do some editing and some stuff. And we were chugging along just fine with Adobe Premiere before we went full HD. And the hardware, of course, with Intel processors was working fine. Then you go high definition, and these files are huge, and the rendering is awesome, and there's so much intensive, I guess, is a good way to put it.
Well, here's the big issue is that AVC HD cameras are really big, and I noticed that you have one HDV camera in here, and they're full HD. They are compressed, though. So especially in education, we get schools that buy a whole bunch of these relatively inexpensive AVC HD cameras. They take beautiful video. As soon as they install it on their computer, which is not a very fast computer, it gets even worse. And that's because AVC HD is incredibly compressed. So it requires a really fast processor to decompress that and play that back.
And does 64-bit play a role in that as well, enough to really make a difference, right?
It makes a huge difference. So if people have Windows 7, which is a huge update, Windows 7 64-bit, or Snow Leopard on the Mac, it's a big difference. It's going to play very nice.
Now, of course, talking about playing nice, you've always got, Adobe's got great suites of software.
Right.
Creative Suite 5.
Yes.
And everything that it includes is sort of the holy grail, I think, for a lot of folks in this industry that are saying, there's all the cool stuff that I've been using with so many cool updates. What are some of the things that really jump out to you that are different and exciting about CS5 than previous issues?
Well, we have so many different suites. The one that I'm concentrating on here really is the video suite, and we call that Production Premium.
Okay, gotcha.
And the mainstay in that is Premiere Pro CS5, which is our video editing application, and After Effects CS5. So people see After Effects.
And that's what lets you fix everything in post, right?
Exactly. People see After Effects output all day and they never know it. They're watching TV, they see motion graphics, they see a show opening. That's all After Effects. And one of the things that we've added is something called the Roto Brush. So people have heard the term rotoscoping. If you go all the way back to the old Star Wars, somebody had to hand draw every single one of those lightsabers, and you notice it's really jaggedy and rickety and horrible in these old versions. Well, that's called rotoscoping, and it's usually a manual process. In After Effects CS5, we have a brush. So let's imagine that you had a cat and you were videotaping a cat walking across the carpet. All you have to do is start the brush at their head, go down to the tail. You don't have to go all the edges. It finds the edge of the cat and allows you to pop it right out of the background.
How do it know?
Well, it's a very complex algorithm. It's looking at textures, at patterns, at motion.
Yeah.
It understands that if something's moving fast, it needs to be blurred a little bit more than something being stationary. I've been showing it here for 2 days, and it's freaking people out.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, and I've seen the excitement around the Adobe exhibit here where you're showing folks, and it's like it's hard to push your way through. And we're trying to use our press credentials. Press. Watch out. They look at us. Get back. You'll learn when we do. But that's what's cool about what you guys are releasing, because it does help everyone so much. Makes such a difference.
Yeah, and with Premiere Pro, a great thing there is all the different native file formats that we support. You can literally take video from every single camera you have here, drop it on the timeline, mix it together, and Premiere Pro's like, bring it on. I don't care. It doesn't force you to have to convert and conform. Just drop it in and you're off to the races.
Well, I can see why you're the best friend of a lot of folks here at Siggraph, especially the video editors and folks that have to do all this cool stuff. And we learned right before we went on the air that the ability to use Adobe Audition on those of the guys on our team with Macs is coming to an opportunity near them, a computer near them.
That's right.
Maybe soon, certainly into tomorrow.
Yeah, we've made the announcement. We're not saying when, but the next version will be out for the Mac.
Love it. Adobe.com for more information. We've got to follow up with you because there's so many cool things you guys are doing. And just, of course, obviously Premiere's the biggie with CS5 and all the cool stuff that you guys are doing. But so many other things. I'd love to get you back, maybe even on the phone in the near future.
Sure.
And we'll pick up where we left off. Colin Smith, Senior Solutions Engineer with Adobe. Again, Adobe.com. We'll link you there, too. Hit us up for all of our guests and their links and videos and interviews, all the cool stuff at IntoTomorrow.com. Back with more from Los Angeles and Siggraph. I'm Dave Graveline as Into Tomorrow continues.